Hello, guys. Hopefully, you guys had a good week. Um, there's been a lot of chatter lately, and probably because master modes are available to everybody now. More people are trying them. There's been a couple of what I would say strong opinions from different YouTubers here and there. Obviously, some of them have agenda where they're either pro or against master modes in its current state. I'm not gonna speculate what final state of master modes will be. I'm just gonna talk about how master modes are now. As of patch 3.22. Going into the holidays, and my thoughts on it is seems to me that the biggest voices opinions against the master modes, how they are implemented today, are the people that basically probably should be better suited to play arena commander versus in PU, because they are under the impression that I can get in the Gladius or whatever the arrow or whatever the current light fighter meta is, and they should be able to wipe the whole server with one light fighter. Big ship, small ship. I mean, their thinking is, hey, I put in all this time. Um, I put in all this time. I spent all this time, practicing PvP, 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 PvP. I should be able to get rewarded for that because that's the only thing I practice and that's the only thing I do in Star Citizen. I should be able to be rewarded for that and be able to take on any ship regardless of size. That's simply just silly. This whole concept of one man army in Star Citizen just has to go away. That's not what Squad 42 is about. And I don't think long term vision from CAG is, um, you know, really not where one man army can take either one man pilot army or, one man army on foot can take on, you know, army of NPCs or, a couple of bigger ships and still prevent and still expect to win. So the crowd that is used to just being able to a crew of like two or three gladiuses can hold off pretty much a lot of people that are coming against them because they're just using the agility of the fighter to get around, to take it down other fighters and other bigger ships. I understand. Um, you know, that is current flight model, and I'm not talking about master modes. Current flight model in PU. PvP, ship PvP is a lot higher skill ceiling than a lot of things in Star Citizen currently. I mean, take salvage, mining, bunker missions, delivery missions. Really, the highest skill ceiling right now, just because you have to learn the intricacies of the system. For example, if you are shooting at somebody, and obviously I'm not gonna get into the whole, the cones and the turn rates, but like, let's say if you're shooting somebody and you're using gimbals and you're using the auto target, and they just start rotating or juking slightly, it will be just enough for those auto gimbals to miss or not deal the full damage. Master mode solved that. Right now, instead of shots going in where they're pointing, it's saturate, like you can see in the video, it saturates the box of the ship. So you will be getting more hits on target by shooting, like for example, shooting at around on, onto that ship when you aim, you will be getting more hits on targets because that spread will cover the entire ship. So that tactic, and I'm not saying that that's a low skill ceiling tactic. It's a very advanced PvP tactic that these people learn, and that's great. But that also, gives them the notion that they can get on and treat this as basically as a PvP server. And long term, I don't think that's what Star Citizen is. Um, it's really not. And the people that view this where this is just straight up PvP all the time, and people will disagree. But do we really want that? Do we really want that in PU all the time? Was just this mentality of, just KOS, just, oh, come fight me, bro. That's really not long term what Star Citizen is. So, what are my thoughts on Master Modes? I um, I really kind of like Master Mode. It slows down the fight. It slows down the fight to make it more like a World War II dogfight. You cannot you don't have a lot of options to disengage from the fight because you are not that much faster than your opponent. I mean, you are some, but like to quote, the latest Maverick movie, and we outrun them, not their guns and missiles. Yes, you are, faster here and there than some other ships. Some ships in their what I call combat master mode will be faster than other ships, but not fast enough to outrun missiles and guns. So it forces you to fight. Um, it does reduce the skill ceiling by making by giving the underdog a person that chose not to initiate the fight. Let's say the person that got ambushed. It does give that person a fighting chance, I think. Um, and also in a way, it does balance out some ships as far as light fighters, medium fighters, heavy fighters by bringing the fights closer together. Guess what? All of a sudden, like for example, you see me in the video, I am using a default because you can customize for the master mode. There's only few ships available to test in master mode. I am using the default Super Hornet loadout, Badgers and ballistic Gatlings. And I'll tell you what, when they get close, and a lot of opponents tend to stay close, like I said, because you can't disengage as fast, all of a sudden, having the fights where you are consistently closer to your opponent, all of a sudden those ballistics actually kind of very valuable. I enjoy using them because the opponents generally stay within 1,000 meters from you, and it's actually very cool, very cool to see that. Does it reduce the skill ceiling for PvP or as far as dogfighting? Yes, maybe. I mean, from what I can tell, it somewhat does, but it makes dogfighting fun and more visceral. I mean, this boom and zoom, and people going out of the fight, recharging their shields, coming back, the whole endless in and out, was just getting tiring and boring. I like master modes. It offers, it basically gives the underdog a fighting chance. It really makes a person that wants to ambush somebody or just wants to PvP, mindless PvP, it will make them question whether or not they can win that fight. It makes teamwork more important because it turns sometimes into a DPS race. So if you have a body with you, that actually becomes very important. It's gonna people that have been just doing nothing but a hardcore PvP and dogfighting, they're going to hate it. People that want to do some dogfighting but do other professions and still kind of enjoy more accessible flight model, and in my opinion more fun flight model, I think will like master modes. I like master mode. um it opens up more options for weapons, and in a weird way it is actually balancing out some ships. People were saying, and CIG was struggling with this too. How do you balance, F8 Lightning with other ships and here and there? So yes, capacitors here and there. I get it. Some people ships have bigger capacitors, smaller capacitors. But for example, let's say F8 Lightning and a Terrapin, right? Especially when the armor is introduced in the game. F8 Lightning you can equip with what, if I remember correctly, like 8 um laser repeaters, but you have, limited capacitors. I think you get like, and don't quote me, this is just from memory. I haven't actually flown the F8 in a while. I think you get with like 8 repeaters, get maybe like 20, 22 shots. Like I said, this is not gospel. I'm doing it from memory. So you get like 22 shots with F8 Lightning, but let's say he's going up against a Terrapin. Armor's in the game and everything else. Terrapin has great capacitors with the 2 Badgers that it has. And again, I should have looked it up. I just don't remember how many, but I mean, you can shoot for a long time. So all of a sudden, F8 Lightning and a Terrapin, and let's say if F8 Lightning is equipped with all energy weapons or repeaters, all of a sudden, in that standpoint, it's a little bit of a more of an even match, especially how our heavy armored Terrapin's supposed to be. Terrapin can just stay there, take the hits, deliver. I would suppose, yes, it has less weapons, but bigger capacitors. So depending how Terrapin plays it, it's not, what I'm saying is, it's not a bam. F8 Lightning rolls in, obliterates the Terrapin, disengages, can come back, can dictate the fight. All of a sudden, it's a little bit more, F8 probably will still win, but it's going to take a licking as well. Now, if that F8 is rocking some ballistic weapons all of a sudden, or it's a laser cannon loadout, but especially if it's a mix between energy weapons and ballistic weapons, then all of a sudden that's a strategy too. All of a sudden that F8 is doing a lot more DPS, and the remaining repeaters have a lot more shots available because it's not all energy based weapons. So I think it will prompt a bigger variety of weapons being used instead of just the current, oh yep, laser repeaters, laser repeaters, boring. I mean, I was skeptical from how CAG was talking about it, and I should have tried sooner. I didn't. And I'm not gonna lie. The Van Duel Swarm. This was like my second time playing this. Like it did the free flight first. I'm just gonna see. I mean, it is fun if you just wanna get into action and just practice. It feels like if you prioritize your targets correctly, like you cannot fly out, disengage, go get some other guy, and let 1 or 2 ships be on your back, taking down your shields. You have to turn around and address that threat. You have to put them on defensive. I think it makes the fights more visceral, and honestly, what it also does too, since it slows down the fight, because like right now, my SCM speed around 200 or less, around 200 in a Hornet, it makes flying with your buddies more rewarding because you will stick together more. You're not gonna boom and zoom and joust, go out to 4,000 meters, come back, recharge your shield. No, you will have to work together, prioritizing high threat targets, helping each other out. I think it's a good thing. Um, People there are in elitist, hardcore PvP. This is nothing but a PvP game. I'm probably not going to like it because this might even up the playing field a little bit. Sure, if they devote the time, and obviously they will they be better than majority of the players? Yes. Will they be able to curb stomp? If that's all they practice, will they be able to curb stomp as much as they do now? No, probably not. Unless, I don't know where CAG, what's the final version of Master Modes will end up. But will they able to like curb stomp, Gladius or Arrow taking you on, you know, a lot bigger ships and expecting to win? Probably not. Come up on the from against the Hammerhead with the slower speed and see how that works. So in a way, in a long term, in a long term EU, broad picture, I think it's a good thing. The eliminating notion of, one man army where you roll up and you can take on multiple ships, it's gotta go. It's not what I think CIG has in mind for PU. It's really not. I mean, I might be mistaken, but I don't think so. Death and your decisions to engage or disengage or be hostile should matter. Or not, they do not. The idea, teamwork makes the dream work. Having protection or having teammates will be very important. Can you still play the game solo? Well, yes, but don't fly into the furball and start scratching everybody's eyes out and then, you know, start crying that everybody wants to fight you. Well, yeah, you're not going to be able to take on, multiple people and expect to live. Because of the master modes, it's a lot more personal now. So overall, I think it's a good thing. I like it. Is it different? Yes. Is it gonna take me some time to get used to it? Yes. Ultimately, is it a good change for Star Citizen? Yes, because somebody can, start mining right away and make some profit. It doesn't take them, weeks or months to learn it. Their whole argument is like, well, you can be a good pilot in a couple of days. Well, yeah, you're not gonna be the best, but you can be good. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.